Welcome to Crossroads of Health, where common sense and good science intersect, with your hosts Rick Simpson and Melanie Martorana. And now it's time for Crossroads of Health.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us for another edition of Crossroads of Health. Always real, always unscripted. I'm your host, Rick Simpson.
And I'm your co-host, Melanie Martorana. And we've got some great talking points this week as well, Rick. In the last several weeks, we have talked several times about the multivitamins because truly your multivitamin is your foundation. That is something that everybody should really be taking a good clinical potency multivitamin to get complete nutritional coverage as a base for everything else that they do. And then from there, you start adding on the other things that will help to support specific conditions that are occurring in your body or help you to deal with, issues that you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. If you have high stress levels, a lot of people need adrenal support. People typically tend to need more liver support. So there's things that you can add on to that, but everybody should really be starting with a basic multi. And in light of that, this is also connected to your heart health too, because there's lots of nutrients that are in these multivitamins that we've been talking about over the last several weeks that are very important for heart health. And Dr. Stengler had a lot of concerns about the fact that people in the United States suffer a lot from nutritional deficiency due to drug depletion. A lot of Americans are on prescription drugs, and there's a lot of nutrients that are very important for overall health, but also specifically for heart health that get depleted when people are taking prescription medications. We talked a lot about B vitamins. We talked about it in the adrenal health. We talked about it in the Be Healthy, both in the Emerald Laboratories condition-specific line. Those are also formulated by Dr. Mark Stengler, who is a naturopath medical physician. He's located in the Encinitas area, so we know a lot of our listeners right now are down in the San Diego area, so he's local to you. But he has had 15 years of clinical practice that has shown him through blood work, through research, through clinical studies, what can happen to people who are taking pharmaceuticals and how these things can deplete their bodies. Rick, you look like you had something to say.
Oh, well, this is a real passionate subject for me because all prescription medications have liver toxicity as one of their side effects. There's something called the physician's desk reference, and it lists all the drugs, all the prescription medications that are out there. I'm not advocating that prescription medications are never a good thing to take, but I am saying because they are not natural molecules, they have liver toxicity associated with all of them, and many of them leach nutrients out of the body. So it's so important, especially when you're taking prescription meds, to supplement with some sort of multivitamin and a good quality one.
One of the big things, that we need to really connect to heart health is the importance of taking a multi, especially if you are somebody who is on a prescription medication, because there are a number of prescription medications that deplete the nutrients that your heart needs for healthy function. For instance, B vitamins are commonly depleted by things like birth control pills, antidepressants. B1 specifically is depleted by taking blood pressure medications. B1 is also known as thiamine, and a deficiency in thiamine can also cause people to have a hard time digesting carbohydrates, which can lead to a loss of mental alertness, difficulty breathing, and even heart damage. So again, heart issues can be created from a deficiency of thiamine or B1. B6 is really important for helping the body to develop antibodies to fight off disease, for developing hemoglobin, which carries oxygen in the red blood cells to your tissues. B12, methylcobalamin, is the form that we use, and it's really important not only for metabolism, but the formation of red blood cells. And then, of course, we talked a lot about folic acid and its L5-methyl tetrahydrofolate form. That's the coenzymated form that we use because over 46% of Americans already have a deficiency of folic acid because their MTHFR gene does not properly convert it. So those who are suffering from a lack of folic acid tend to have higher homocysteine levels in their blood, which puts them at greater risk for heart attack and stroke. Now, in addition to that, a lot of people are taking statin drugs and beta blockers for high blood pressure and other heart disease issues. And one of the things that gets depleted from that is coenzyme Q10, which has had hundreds of studies showing its benefit for heart health. So those are just a few examples of things that can be massively depleted from just simply taking prescription medications.
Let me just interject here too. CoQ10 is essential for energy function in the body. And when you take statin drugs, they leach a fair amount of CoQ10 out of your body. In fact, my sister-in-law, her brother had a heart attack, and he went on statin drugs, and he was just like, man, I'm so tired all the time, so tired now. Well, it's because he doesn't have adequate CoQ10. So I actually gave him one of our multis, which has a good amount of CoQ10, and he said, oh my gosh, all of a sudden I have energy, because just that little bit of CoQ10 that's so essential for the mitochondrial function at the cellular level, that's the powerhouse in the cells, that caused him to be so tired like he was. So that's really a big deal. And with that, we'll say thank you for joining us for another episode of Crossroads of Health, and we will see you hopefully next time. Bye-bye for now.